Michael Hurd. I've been honored to be your Commonwealth attorney for the past 12 years, and I want to thank all of you for participating and for the host of this event tonight. I am a Deltaville native. My parents are Norton now being Hurd. My brother is Jack and Myra Hurd, so that means, of course, I was raised in the Hurd's hardware family. And my wife Beth is here, and we have 2 children in Middlesex County Public Schools. I attended Middlesex County Public Schools myself, and then Lynchburg College, like my father, and then law school at Mercer University in Macon, Georgia. While I was in Georgia, I was eligible to take the Georgia bar exam while I was still a law student. So I passed the bar while I was still in law school, and I passed the Virginia bar when I came here, also on the first try. I was an assistant Commonwealth attorney for the city of Danville for 4.5 years, prosecuting many, many different types of cases. And I learned that was a field that I enjoyed, but I wanted to return here to Middlesex County. And I worked in Gloucester with attorney Mike Sobert for 5 years, and I had my own law practice after that, which was another goal of mine. And I did that for 8 years, and at one time I had another attorney working with me as an associate. Another time I had up to 3 staff people. I had my own title insurance and agency as well. I have been in my last year of private practice, I was voted best attorney by Pleasant Living magazine. I did court-appointed and private attorney work. I did work free of charge for many county organizations and churches. As I said, I've been your Commonwealth attorney for the past 12 years, which is a tough, demanding job. You have to know what you're doing, and also you need to know your community. I'm a past president of the Middle Peninsula Bar and many, many other organizations like the Lions Club and Rappahannock Riverton, and I run out of time. I can't answer as to a percentage. We don't keep track of that. I can tell you that it's mostly used for juveniles because our court service unit has that available. It's not as available for the adults. We have had a number of cases where GPS monitoring is a good fit. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes we've had people who've cut it off. And I look at cases at a case basis, of course. It's not always up to me. It's always also up to the judge as to the decision that's made. One thing that I started here in Middlesex, though, was a push for the use of the alcohol bracelets, particularly for some of our alcoholics, because you try to keep them off of alcohol. You may know of Eugene, was a person who was using alcohol a lot, and I got the Scram-X program to take him as the first test case, and they had no idea what they were getting into. But that gentleman worked very well being on Scram-X, even when the batteries were out for about a year. He had no idea that it happened. So I am in favor of innovative programs, and sometimes we use them in innovative ways. There was a guy who liked our jail so much that every time he got out, he would get a criminal charge, so he would go back when he was homeless. So I made an arrangement with the jail that please, when he comes back, which he will, transfer him to the dirtiest, nastiest jail you can find. And I got to tell him in court that was going to happen. And it happened. He got sent to Bedford. When he came back, there was someone in court waiting for him as a friend to take him to a homeless shelter in Norfolk. We never saw him again. So I am in favor of different innovative ways other than just jail. Thank you. Well, I'd certainly be interested in it. One of our problems, though, is this is a one-person office. And I learned very early on, be careful for what programs you have and what you try to do, because your cases take #1 priority. Having said that, I have given many talks to a lot of different civic organizations. I have also helped judge mock high school meets on the state level. I've also helped with Middlesex High School and our sheriff's office in regard to mock sentencing for high school seniors in regard to DUI. The sheriff's office has tried Citizens Academy, and it's a good program, and I spoke at that for the past 2 years that they've had it. And they have much more of a capacity capacity to put that on than I do individually as a one-person office. So the Sheriff's Office has been putting on a Citizens Academy. Some of the larger Commonwealth Attorney's offices that have like 10 or 20 assistants have done a Citizens Academy, but it's just not feasible for me to do much of that. I would consider it. But when you're dealing with all the cases that I handle, including cases like misdemeanors that I don't have to handle, that takes up a lot of time. I have been pleased to work with the Sheriff's Office in regard to the Citizens Academy, but it's really not very well attended. They've had times, sometimes 6 people there, sometimes 10 people there. So when I go out in the community talking to people, when I go out in the community to civic organizations, that's another way of networking with the community. And I've got a lot of networks going on here, and I'm thankful for a lot of the people who give me information. It is correct that a deputy some years ago was banned from testifying. A number of things came to my attention, and I attempted to address that with the sheriff. I went ahead and had 2 separate multi-page memos of instances that had come to my attention. I remember the very first time that person came to my attention when the sheriff was first elected. That person was put in a supervisory capacity, and when the deputy came to me about that person, I turned it over to the sheriff, what I had been told, and then what the sheriff did was just send the guy over to talk to me without an internal investigation. So that went nowhere. Many years later, I learned of more and more instances, and finally I decided the time has come that he had to be banned. That was not met well with our sheriff, with certain words to me that were vulgar, and as far as why is he still employed, you have to ask the sheriff that question.